All right, welcome in. It's Wednesday. It is time for Total Bases. Tokyo Brandon will be back tomorrow, but today you've got myself, Bryan Leonard, and we're going to be talking Game 3 of the ALCS Jays Mariners. Bryan, I want to throw this to you because this is very interesting to me, and I didn't think we would be in this predicament right now going into the respective Game 3s. We did not have a home team win a game in the first two. So home teams right now in the LCS round are 0-4. You don't see that very often. Is that making it as challenging for you as it is for me to come up with like where these series are going to go from here?
Yeah, it's strange. Ralph Michaels was nice enough to send something over in the Slack. He's got some numbers. It's small sample sizes, but the home teams in Game 3 after sweeping on the road have been pretty good. So we could see more of the teams that are ahead winning. And if a team gets up 3-0, I usually expect the team with the team that loses, especially in the NBA. I use a lot of it where they don't have the heart and they don't want to have to go and play another game again. It kind of knocks them out. So this is a key game for both of these teams, both of these series. I thought this Milwaukee team. I like the way they're set up, but the Dodgers just show you how starting pitching is so important that you can have guys. I mean, the bullpen, the Dodgers have struggled with their bullpen all year long. And in these series lately, the Dodgers don't even need the bullpen. They got these starters going all game. And it's, I'd hate to say it, but the coach has done some good jobs keeping those starters in there for the Dodgers. And I'm not a big fan of his. And, in the other series too, Seattle's, if you ask anybody who the best pitching staff is when they're healthy in the American League, that's Seattle. So if you're a big starting pitcher fan, these are the two teams you probably expected to be up 2-0 at this point. I do want to point out for the park factors, the home runs today are supposed to be down 10% from a normal T-Mobile Park game. Doubles and triples down 8, singles down 1, and runs down 7. So it's going to be tough to score some runs in this game if you're looking for the over. We got Bieber going against Kirby here, and I'll just get into my analysis on the game, and we'll let you pick it up from there. But Kirby's maybe about a 125 favorite here with a total of 7, slightly to the over. At least from what I remember, Seattle's hit much better on the road than they had at home. Toronto hits pretty well at home, and they've done pretty well on the road. But the key in this game to me is the starting pitching. Shane Bieber, loved the guy. He was great for Cleveland. Just terrific guy. He's only 30 years old, and he's had a terrific career already in 8 seasons. But, if you take a look at just his numbers, the 3.57 ERA, 1.02 whip, you would think, oh, this is the same old Bieber, but his expected ERA, 4.57. And although he's only thrown 40 1/3 innings on the season, so not enough for a lot of the StatCast numbers to verify it a little bit. Fastball velocity 23rd percentile, average exit velocity has been bad, barrel rate's been bad, hard hit rate's been bad. Throws 5 pitches, the most is his 4-seamer, 36%, but the normal righty throws at 95 miles an hour. His is 92.6. So I hope, for Toronto's sake, and I hope for Bieber's sake, that he will be better with the off season and be back stronger next year. But right now, he's not a guy I feel confident on throwing out there and putting my money on in a game that they need to win. I talked about that. They can't go down 0-3. Not too many teams come back from that unless the Red Sox against the Yankees, I believe, a few years ago. But George Kirby, another guy that's had some injuries this year, only threw 126 innings after 191 basically each of the last 2 years. His ERA is a little high at 4.21, expected 3.85, whip 1.19. All those numbers are more higher than they've been in the last few years, but he came back from injury, and they brought him back early, struggled early, but he's pitching pretty well right now. Still, his average exit velocity in the 14th percentile, hard hit rate 21st, and barrel 47th mean that he can be hit. But I think he's pitching a lot better now than he has in the past. He's excellent at walks, 89th percentile, fastball velocity 80th, throws 6 pitches. If I take a look at this game, I don't want to play the under because I'm a little worried about Bieber. And you're getting a 7. And there's not too many games that Toronto has played this year with a 7 total. I think Toronto's offense is better than what they have shown. Seattle's been really good offensively for a while now. If I play this game, and I did sit out yesterday, I didn't have anything. I said that I just didn't get enough on Milwaukee. I thought it was we talked about LA being the best team in baseball. I just didn't quite get enough. And I was kind of worried about the starting pitcher from Milwaukee. And that's the way I feel about Toronto today. So if I play this one, I'm going to play the over.
I agree with that. I think that's the same way I would look here. I wish I sat out yesterday. I talked myself into the Brewers, and before I get into my breakdown of this game, I want to comment on a couple of things. So one, going back to your point, yesterday's game, part of my angle, part of my handicap was, if the Brewers can get to the late innings sort of tied or in the lead, that I think their edge is against the Dodgers bullpen. We never saw the Dodgers bullpen. Mm-hmm. Which was surprising to me. Listen, it was a dream start for the Brewers. You had a clean top of the first. You come out and the first batter goes yard. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, this is great. This is exactly how I wanted this game to start. And Yamamoto cruises the rest of the game, complete game. So really just the only takeaway there for me is kind of where you were at. Dodgers look really good. And I think if there was a team that's going to get back into the series, it's more likely this one. If there was a way to, Brewers might be up against it going on the road to LA, but we'll see. I want to, the other comment I wanted to make before I get into breaking down this game, much different than NHL and NBA, is baseball series. Like every day is still, in my opinion, a new day. There's new pitching. There's new nuance when it comes to pitchers that are available, or how a team wants to go from starter to relievers. It is far more likely, in my opinion, that a baseball series can flip very quickly, as opposed to, like, if I'm watching NBA, and I'm not an NBA guy and I'm not an NHL guy, so I watch them as a casual fan, and like LeBron and whoever are just beating someone's face in for 3 straight games. To me, it's like that fourth game, even if they like take one off, it's okay. If maybe it doesn't happen in game 4, game 5's usually going that way. It's probably not going to be a series. I would not, like baseball, I wouldn't look at it like that, because again, it's a new day. You have new starting pitchers. If one of these games goes a certain way, then the next day is a new day as well. And you have new starting pitchers. And it's like, so I don't think that either of these teams are done per se. But when I look at the matchup, and now we'll go back into this game, I'm kind of with you. I don't really want Bieber. That's not where I necessarily want to go here. I played against him in the last round. I didn't think he looked good. So again, both of these guys have had to work around injuries in this season, but Bieber was far more. It was a far bigger injury. It was a far. I think he had to essentially, he missed all of last year, rehabbed at the beginning of this year. I know he was up here in Buffalo for over a month. It was a very extended rehab. And so, like he had that like sort of good run. See, this is where you have to like really, everything's a case by case basis. Mm-hmm. Shane Bieber pitched 40 1/3 innings in Major League Baseball this season. That's in the MLB. So he obviously pitched probably more than that when you count all of his rehab starts together. He probably had another 40 plus in the minors. But he came into Major League Baseball essentially in August, when it was his April. Right? It was his April 1. It was his opening day. Everyone else is out here dragging because it's the dog days. And he's literally starting his season in August. So I look at the regular season Bieber, 1.02 whip, a 3.57 ERA. That stretch that he had was really that was really good. And I asked myself, if he had 4 more months of the season, would his numbers look like that? And I can pretty confidently say they would not. Like, there's no way, if he had another 4 months of the regular season this year, that he's got a whip that's essentially 1. So basically you're saying that his whip's the same as Yamamoto's whip, right? Like, that's because that's right. Yamamoto came in Regular season whip 0.99, Bieber's 1.02. Very deceiving. I think if you give Bieber, so I'm just going to use the two pitchers that threw yesterday as a baseline. Both threw about 170 innings this year. I think if you gave him another 130 innings in the big leagues this year, that's probably more like 1-3, 1-2, 5, 1-3, something like that. You're going to see that ERA is probably a little bit over 4. That's what I think. That's where I think he's kind of at right now in terms of like the pitcher. He's probably is the rest of it. Like you said, he's 30 years old. I mean, he's been around for a while, comes off of a huge injury. I'm not saying he can't have a big year at some point, but everything I've seen in terms of like, I watched every one of his starts at Buffalo, watching him really like the closest in the playoffs so far, that just doesn't inspire a ton of confidence going on the road. Now, you could say a lot of those things about George Kirby as well, having to work around, a mid-season injury, coming back. His command hasn't been there. To your point, Bryan, exit velo, hard hit. I think it's because his command's not fully there. So it's like when he's missing, because he just hasn't had the feel that he had, let's say last year, when he threw 100, last 2 years, 2023, 2024, 191 innings, both years essentially, whip in the low one, like 1.04, 1.07. Elite command, top of his game. When you have to come back from an injury mid-season, like sometimes you need an off season, right? And so that's kind of how I've looked at Kirby this year. Now, to your point, go back to September 14th, 14 strikeout game against the Angels. Since then, 6 innings, 6 scoreless, 7 strikeouts against the Astros. 5 innings, 10 Ks against the Dodgers. And then he was pretty respectable in his 2 appearances against the Tigers. You had both were only 5 innings. So he didn't work super deep into either. 3 earned runs, 14 strikeouts. If I'm going to pick a side, I think it's probably going to have to be Kirby and the Mariners. But I think I'm with you. I think over 7 is light. I know we saw some fly balls in that Tiger series that didn't leave the yard. I wonder if that's creeping into people's minds where it's like, yeah, T-Mobile's a tough park to hit the ball out of. I don't think that necessarily means there's going to be a shortage of offense here. So, Bryan, I think I'm with you. I think we have a little consensus play here for game 3. I like over 7 as well.
Yeah, a couple things. Number one, when I go back to talking about teams 3-0 or whatever, it makes more sense that in hockey and in the NBA, it would be tougher to do because they're physical sports, especially hockey. I mean, these guys, if you follow hockey, they're tough as hell. And in baseball, it's more of a finesse sport, and they obviously play twice as many games. So the players in the NBA could not play 162 games, and in hockey, obviously not either. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, when we were talking about the Brewers game, and I hate to keep going back on this, I didn't even give my clients a yes or no if I was having to play till late because I wanted to see if Smith was going for the Dodgers. And as soon as I saw that he was going, I said I was passing. That's the thing with the Dodgers is not only do they have a guy that throws out the base runners, which is what Milwaukee does. That's a big part of Milwaukee's game. They also have starters that are elite starters going deep. So if you're getting 1-3 hits, I mean, it takes Milwaukee completely out of their game. That's the way to beat Milwaukee is a great pitching and the situation where you've got a catcher and there's a few of them out there that you just don't run on. And that's really why Milwaukee was such a bad matchup going against the Dodgers. If Milwaukee was playing another team, I think Milwaukee would have a very good chance to beat them. But the Dodgers were a 2-1 favorite going into the series for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I again, there wasn't, and that's probably why I'm still kicking myself for yesterday. There wasn't any question to me that the Dodgers were the best of these 4 teams. We talked about that really last series. And then prior to game 1, like I think you and I kind of agreed that was from a talent standpoint, they were far superior. I mean, I literally am willing to say far superior than the 3 teams remaining. I have to say, I thought the Brewers, even with that talent discrepancy, just the way that they're built, would have made this a more competitive series. Now, again, don't write the Brewers off just because they've lost 2 games. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of baseball, and we'll talk about that when Tokyo Brandon is back tomorrow and we've got starters and we've got a number on the game. But like these series could totally turn around. All it takes is one game. However, it's interesting that we had four home teams or four games, and the home team did not win a single game, especially in the case of the Blue Jays. That, the Brewers were underdogs in both of their games, but the Blue Jays not winning one of those, going to really be interesting to see how that plays out tonight. I think I'm with you though, Brian. If I get there with a side, it's probably Seattle. If let's say the series would split 1-1, I think I'd be more inclined maybe to go with Seattle, even though that might be flawed thinking here.
I think I agree with you on that. Mark always uses the fat and happy thing. Well, Seattle's coming back. I like the way they looked after the game, and especially when the big dumper got his interview, he goes, "Hey," he's got the shirt on, says we haven't done anything yet, that kind of thing. I like that. But if a team comes back 1-1 and they got an hour at home, I would give the home advantage a little bit better in that regard. With 2-0, I understand that. Yeah.
I still want to get you guys involved in the chat. I know it's right now, we're getting to the point in the season where it's one game, the show is shorter. And I forget that I still want to sort of I want to get the chat involved. David Edgington says Brewers have no offense. I feel like I'm going to push back on that a little bit. Do they have no offense, or did they just face two of the best starting pitchers in the in the majors that threw 17 innings and essentially of like 1-run ball? Bryan Leonard, what do you respond
I agree.
to that?
Well, the part of the Brewers aren't going to knock you around with the home runs like the Seattle will or the Yankees or the Dodgers, but they run the bases very well, and you can't run the bases if you don't get on base. And that's all there is to it. That's a big part of their game, is their defense and running the bases. And when you take that away, the Dodgers have done it well. And like I said, this is probably the worst matchup for them. If they played a team that didn't have such dominant starting pitching, the Brewers are a great team. There's no doubt about it. You don't finish the season with the best record in baseball without having some success.
Queen Rocks 1341 says Toronto doesn't strike out much. That is true. That being said, George Kirby's been racking up the strikeouts. I think that's a very interesting matchup here, because he's been getting a lot of swing and miss lately. And when he's getting swing and miss, that's like when I see George Kirby have a 10 strikeout game, an 8 strikeout game, 7 strikeouts. I think we pointed out the numbers across the 2 games in the Tigers series. That tells me he's starting to get back toward the guy that for 2 straight full years, 2023, 2024, had a 1 whip as a starter. So like, I guess what I'm looking at, in terms of like upside here, I think it's far more likely that Kirby throws a gem than it is Bieber. Like, if I'm just trying to add some, and that's why I think I lean Mariners, because I just think the upside of Kirby here is far greater. And their bullpen is better. I don't care. Like the Blue Jays had a 5 bullpen ERAs since Jimmy Garcia went down on July 2nd. The Yankees couldn't make them pay, but Brian, the Mariners look like they're capable of doing that.
Well, since you like the over and you think Kirby's going to have a little bit more success and you're worried about Bieber, how about maybe Seattle team total over? Something else to take a look at. Makes a lot of sense here, because when you get the total that low, that's something that can be easily covered.
Yeah, and that's a lot of sites are it looks like a lot of sites are going to give you 3.5. Juice is somewhat reasonable, -120. Mm-hmm. I see a -125. Obviously, shop around for that. I can't really argue with that. I feel like that's probably, like, for me, Brian, I think that might be I'd probably rather play the team total over with the Mariners than lay -130 with the Mariners on the side. So again, these are just a couple different ways to look at it. But I think I would try to find something that with the over. I think over is probably where the value is in this game based on where it's priced. I think there's way too much stock being put into T-Mobile Park here. Like, just because this game is in Seattle and it is a pitcher-friendly park does not mean there's going to be no offense in this game. That's kind of how I'm looking at Game 3.
I can see it.
Bryan, do you have anything to promote for today? Do you have anything up yet?
Yeah, I did lose my football game yesterday. I won my hockey game, and I won my hockey free play, and I passed in baseball. I'm number 2 over the last month in Major League Baseball, number 2 overall in net profit in just sports handicapping overall. And I'm working on. I just saw today that they did confirm that they are doing that weekend promo that they had last week. So I'm excited for that because we did very well. We were 1-2 on Sundays, tiny plays in the NFL, but I believe we were 5-1 on Saturday, and we won the Thursday game or something to that effect. So I'm getting ready to put up my college football plays for today, and I'm really excited about the weekend. I'm doing the puck time today over with Andrew and Carmine. That'll be at 8 o'clock here Pacific, 11 Eastern. So looking forward to that. But yeah, it's been a good run. Unfortunately, I did lose the college football play yesterday, but it was a no-show for Western Kentucky, and it was ugly. And it's going to happen once in a while. You bet enough, you're going to get one of those out there. So unfortunately, that happened yesterday. But hey, overall, did pretty well.
I have no plays up for today. I don't know that I will, so I'll I have to. Jake, this is a great comment. Jake, he goes, Trig, you have to remember that in 2000 when the Doosan Bears were down 0-3 and forced a game 7, only to have the Hyundai Unicorns pull off the win to stop a comeback. Just the year 2000 KBO. I couldn't have told you who was in the league at that point. However, I'm still very invested in the KBO. We now have the semifinal series is set. So no KBO for a couple of days. They will resume play, I believe, on Friday. What's Friday morning for us? Samsung, Hanwha. Probably see Cody Ponce out there against most likely maybe Ariel Jurado. A couple of former MLB guys going at it in that one. That should be a great series, and I'll have KBO plays up. The one thing I will promote, since I don't have any picks to sell right now, is the fact that we're going to be doing this show, meaning this format, for college basketball, except it's going to be called Full Court Press, another name that I made up, and I think is good. And it's going to be myself, Rob Vino, and Bryan Power. So time slot is going to be similar. I think we're starting 1 hour later. So I believe it'll be 10 a.m. live as opposed to 9 a.m. live, just trying to fit in the programming schedule that Wager Talk has. So I think they want to put it in the 10 a.m. time slot, and we'll go 5 days a week. And I'm over here looking at my Savant pages, Bryan. I see George Kirby from Elon University. I see Shane Bieber from UC Santa Barbara, and I'm instantly fired up for college basketball. And so we should have a nice seamless transition here for the most part. We're going to do the baseball show right through the World Series. And then I believe it's November 3rd, whatever that first Monday in November is, November 3rd. We're hitting the ground running 5 days a week. College basketball, it'll be myself, Bryan Power, Rob Vino, and who knows, maybe Bryan Leonard will jump in if one of those guys needs a day off at some point.
Yeah, I've had a lot of success in college basketball, but I can't talk college basketball like you guys do. I can talk baseball at the back of my hand. I'm on the hockey show. I've had a lot of success in hockey. I can't talk hockey like the Canadians on the show have been watching their entire lives, So I don't make many appearances on shows like that. But yeah, I've had success in it. The one thing that's really struggled with for me is the NFL the last couple of years, and who knows? Maybe it's just too hard for me. I don't know.
Listen, I'll harp on this. It is I don't, and again, this will probably, I don't understand how you're an expert at like 5 different things. It just doesn't make sense.
Hard to do. Yeah.
To me, I can't possibly and I'll just even say it. Like, I can't possibly do something else if I'm trying to do baseball at the level that I feel like it should be done, and then college basketball, I really can't do anything else. That's why, football, I'll dip my, right now, I mean, I'm hot in the NFL, and I feel like the NFL, though, Bryan, is like, I don't think anyone has a huge edge on the NFL these days, but it's like we can all kind of crunch numbers quickly. And so for me, I'm just not going to ask questions right now. The NFL players are winning. I'm going to keep putting them out if they're winning. My tune will change drastically if one or two loses. Like I'm just not going to be like firing huge NFL volume. As far as college football is concerned, like, again, I don't know how you do all these different things. Like, for me, I've only put I can tell you right here. It's right here on my list. I've put 14 college football plays out this year. And really they're coming from the relationships I've made when I'm traveling around through college basketball. Once in a while, I'll get a little insight and I'm like, yeah, that's worth a bet. But yeah, it is. So I don't blame you one bit. Like, if you're locked into the NHL, which I think is where you should be because you're very good at it, and as we talked yesterday, it's a beatable market. Yeah, like that's where you should be. So I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah, I think in the NFL, the way to beat it anymore is pay special attention to any injuries that are happening in game and make your judgments on that and try to get ahead of the injury, because there's many times, they have now. I know we're extending the show, but they have doctors who have seen the way the guy's going off the field and grabbing certain places, and he goes, that's probably this, and he's going to miss 5 weeks or whatever. Those guys will say it before the teams will come out and say it. And if you're tuned into that kind of thing, you can kind of get ahead of the line a little bit. In the NFL, I've always been a numbers guy. If I watch the team play and I think they're the better team and line's 2.5, I think it's going to 3. I grab the 2.5. One of those kind of things. It's simple. And that hasn't worked as well, for at least for me lately. And now with teasers, you can't I can't say you can't play a teaser, but when I used to play it, it's a 2.6 point or 6.2 team teasers plus 100. Then it went to minus 110. Then it went to minus 120. Now they're charging 135. I'm not going to give my client a 135 teaser. It's just not worth playing anymore. But other people feel differently, so. But yeah, I can't do
that. Before we get off the show, but just because we jokingly ragged on Kelly for not liking baseball the other day, so I got to give Kelly props before I get off the show. One of the best things, like, and this was, I think, before I even started at Wager Talk, so you're probably talking like 5-6 years ago at this point. I think I came in, I just got on Sports Memo, and I put a couple plays up, and so she's I think I lost one. And it was like Bayern Munich or something. She's like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh, it's a soccer play." I think I put it was a Champions League game. She goes, "No." She's like, "You don't bet soccer." She's like, "You just don't. Like, what are you doing? Why are you?" She's like, "You got karma, like all like what are you like? Is that what you want to do?" And I was like, "No, I guess you're right." I killed. So I was like, "No, you know what? You're right. Why am I messing around with that?" And then I kind of like. I think I had an NHL play in the playoffs and I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing putting like actual units at risk? Even if I think I have, like, I don't grind this out 24/7, 365. So like, that's made me much better. Like in my opinion, I mean, I think everyone should do that. I'll say that. I think anyone in this that's doing what we're doing could benefit from like, just being like, you know what? I'm not an NBA guy. Just accept it. My edge is in. McKinnis has done a great job at this, by the way. Shout out to Andrew McKinnis. Before we get off, I'll promote his show. He's I think he's done a great job in like leaning into NHL, CFL, and I know he's having a really good year because of it. And I know he's got a new show, and I think he does. You've done his new show, right?
I have not, but I've watched it, and it's a little tough. It's like yesterday, he was late because Montreal went to overtime. And it's hard to talk about the lines because last night, I'm on the show today. I had to send them over what game I was going to talk about last night. And there's only a couple places that had lines. So I really didn't know where the value was. So that makes it a little tough. But Andrew and Carmine and even Prez, and I give Prez a lot of shit, but he knows hockey much better than I do. But I know how to handicap. And that's what's kept me ahead. It's not that I'm a fan of these sports, although I kind of am, but I don't need to watch every game. I have other things I can look at to point me towards some value. And everything I do, I've got power ratings, and if it's in my power ratings and there's value, I bet it.
Jersey Tugging says, "Is this your only job?" Yeah, this is it. I believe it or not, there's a lot of prep that goes into even coming on for 30 minutes or doing an hour college basketball show. I got a call coming up with Rob Vino, Brian Power, who are like, this is a lot of work right here. And I'm just like, yeah, it is. Buckle up. 364 Division I college teams, and the chat's going to be asking questions about Sam Houston State. Someone better have something to say. So, but anyway, we just hanging out with you for a little bit today. We only had one game. Tomorrow we will have the star of the show will be back. Tokyo Brandon. He's back tomorrow to talk Dodgers Brewers game 3. Another great example of just like sticking to what he knows and crushing it. I mean, he might be the best example of anyone. He's constantly at the top, and it's because he's hammering away at markets that he just knows better than the books. So shout out to TB, and we'll be back in the morning. More Total Bases, 9 a.m. Eastern. Good luck if you decide to get involved with the game tonight. Obviously, check out our pages. Check out the free picks page at Wager Talk. And if you have an extra second or two, head on over to the replay, drop us a comment, maybe a like and a subscribe. We want to finish strong this year. So who knows? Maybe we'll come back next year and they'll give us graphics. Like Brian Powers got those great graphics.
How about a producer?
Yeah, or a producer or something like that. But yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in right till the end. I know it's football season, but we had about 600 on the live here. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys in the morning.